Hey friends, welcome back to Stappystamper. I hope that you had a super Merry Christmas and have some amazing plans for New Year's Eve. Today is December 31st, so depending on when you are watching this, let me be one of the first people to wish you a Happy New Year, Happy 2026. Today we're going to talk about paper pumpkin alternatives for the December 2025 paper pumpkin kit. Let's take a look at our materials. This kit makes 9 cards. In your box, you're going to find there are 9 envelopes. They're all the same, decorated at the bottom. Nothing on the inside, just plain white. You're going to have a plastic baggie with some large dimensionals and some copper dots. You have some tear and tape, a Night of Navy stamping spot. You have 3 card pieces. Looks like you may stamp something there in the middle. Your watercolor in bloom stamp set looks like this. Dear friend, thank you. The little things you do for me mean so much. Miss you so much. You make me feel loved. And then you have some kind of plant stamps as well. In addition to this, you're going to get 9 card bases. So 3 of the card bases have kind of a blue watercolor gradient. We have some Night of Navy, maybe some garden green in there, could be shaded spruce. I haven't looked at the colors yet to determine what are the coordinating colors. And then you have another card base that has some kind of blues and greens together. There are 3 of each of these. And then we have 3 sheets of vellum punch that they punch out. So 3 sheets of those. 3 sheets of labels. Looks like they kind of go match up with these vellum pieces. They have that same kind of copper trim on them. And then 2 sheets of regular labels. And then to round out the kit, you have a sheet of ephemera punch outs. So some maybe little snowflakes, stars, could be flowers on there, some plants, foliage, and 1 sheet of that. Okay, our video today is going to take place in 3 parts. In part 1, I'm going to show you, I'll make them off camera, but then I will show you the 3 cards that are made according to kit directions. So every kit comes with the directions in the box. If you can get them out. Oops, sorry about that. If you can get them out, the directions are right here. Okay, the cards are going to look like that. So I'll make 1 of each card according to the directions that are in your kit. In part 2, I'm going to make them maybe a little bit fancier. I'll throw in some extra cardstock, maybe some ribbon or other embellishments that I have in my stash. And then in card 3, I'm really going to try to make the last 3 cards some wow cards. I may do some embossing. I might throw in some other stamp sets or whatever I have laying around. Maybe a fun fold or something like that. So I will show you all 3 as we go along in part 1, part 2, and part 3. So stick with me, and here comes part 1. All right, here we are at part 1. I just finished making all 3 cards according to the instructions in the kit. Now, I'm going to say I did change the sentiment on card 1 and on card 3. So on card 1, it was supposed to say, miss you so much. And card 3 was supposed to say, dear friend, you make me feel loved. I chose to make thank you cards because that is what I tend to need more of, and felt like by putting the thank you sentiment on the cards, I would get more use out of them. Okay, so card 1 looks like this. Got some dimensionals in here. You stamp the greeting on a little square piece. You add this floral piece to the top, put on a flower. You have some of those copper sequins. All of that gets put on the base piece here with the florals, and then underneath all of this is that long rectangle of vellum. Card number 2, oh, on the inside, they all have just regular plain insides. Okay, card number 2, same thing. You stamp on one of the white pieces. You put that on the decorative piece with the copper. You have a vellum piece behind it. You put all of that on your card base. You do a little bit of stamping with some of the floral stamps. There's a floral piece here. You put a flower on it, and then some copper sequins on that one. Inside's the same. And then number 3, this is where you had the card, or the card piece that had that blank spot in the middle. So I thought that we'd be stamping right in there, but nay. You stamp on a white rectangle. You mount that on the piece with the copper. Then you mount all of that on a rectangular piece of vellum. Embellish with some floral ephemera, and then pop on your copper sequins. Inside is just blank. Okay, so stay tuned for part 2. In part 2, I'm going to research and see what the coordinating colors are. Do I have any of that cardstock? I'll be cutting up these pieces, using them in different ways, and making some different cards. I'm not going to, let me move these back down. I'm not going to do any embossing or die cutting or anything like that until part 3. So in part 2, I'm just going to be using some extra cardstock, extra paper, maybe some designer series paper if I have something that'll coordinate, maybe some extra ribbon, something like that. But nothing crazy, just a run-of-the-mill alternative that anybody can do if you just have a little bit of extra supplies laying around. So I'll see you in just a bit. All right, welcome back to part 2. So part 2, I have taken some extra cardstock. I don't think I used any other supplies other than some shaded spruce cardstock, some basic white cardstock, and some Night of Navy cardstock. So these are our 3 cards using just minimal supplies, still pretty much staying true to the directions in the kit, but kind of zhuzhed up a little bit. So I'm going to move these 2 out of the way, and then let's talk about the different cards. So this is the first card. So we made this card. This was part 1 according to the kit directions. And then this is the card that I made for part 2. So I did change out the card base on this. I liked the way this card base, which was actually taken from the original card 2. I just flipped-flopped those 2. I liked the way this card base with the shaded spruce in there looked with this particular style, so I just made that switch. So for this card, it is cut at 7 by 5.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. And then pretty much kept it the same setup here as in card 1. This part I just put together like normal. I added a shaded spruce mat for the inside, some basic white, a Night of Navy strip with a strip of that card base. And then for the front, I added a strip of shaded spruce, a mat of shaded spruce, and then the card base again. And then over the top of all of that, I added the piece that we made from the card kit with the vellum on the back, and it just kind of hung over the edge a little bit, and I think that makes a really nice card. Okay, that's card number 1. Card number 2 from the original kit looked like this. My card number 2 looks like that. So you can see I've reimagined where I did my stamping. This and this is this. What I did is I cut off part here, probably about 2 inches, maybe from here to here, maybe 1.5 inches. And then I cut off the bottom piece, and I flipped one up and flipped one down. I have a strip of Night of Navy. My sentiment, dear friend, you make me feel loved. Thank you. I gave everything a mat of basic white, and then I made it open from the bottom and have a little strip of that card base there too. Remember, I switched card 1 and card 2. I switched those card bases. And there is card number 2. All right, card number 3. Original for part 3 looked like this. And then my version looked like this. I stuck with the same card base. I used this piece here, but I cut off the top and the bottom. This piece measures, I think it's 7 again. Yes, it is 7 inches, just like the first card, 7 by 5.5. But instead of turning it this way, I turned it landscape. Used it that way. The inside doesn't have a mat. It just has a piece of basic white, 5 1/4 by 4. Little strip of Night of Navy with an extra piece of the card base. And then for the front, I did mat the strip of card base on basic white. I took a mat of Night of Navy for the piece that was supplied in the card kit, and pretty much kept this bit here the same. I did thank you last time. I did thank you. I moved it over to the side a little bit, added, you can hear my pup, added a little bit of ephemera here, a little bit bigger than what we did on that one, and basically kept this part very much the same, just flipped it to a landscape version. Okay, let me bring these cards back in. So far we have 6 cards. Card 3, card 2, and card 1. Now what I'm going to do in part 3, coming right up next, is I'm going to really think about die cuts. I really feel like I'm going to be embossing some of this vellum. Don't know with what yet, but I'm going to Maybe throw in some punches, maybe some other dies, other stamp sets, ribbon. I don't know. Anything goes for part 3. And that's coming up next. All right. Welcome back to part 3. I have all 3 of the first cards here. So part 1, part 2, part 3 cards. I think it'll be easier to see the progression from the different versions of each card this way. So this was card 1, made according to the directions in the kit. Looked like this. Okay. Now this was card 2 on part 2, card 1, part 2. I switched out the papers and then cut the card, let's see, 1.5 inches off of the card, and pretty much stuck to the same embellishment piece here as was in the part 1 card. Added a mat of shaded spruce and let it hang over the edge a little bit. So that is part 2. And then our part 3 card looks like this. So once again, I switched the card bases. For card 1, I've used all 3 of the papers, as you can see. Now this card opens like this. And I took the vellum and ran it through an embossing folder. It's an old Stampin' Up! Embossing folder, but I really liked the foliage on the embossing folder and thought it matched well with the images in this kit. So I ran it through an embossing folder, and instead of putting it on the back like part 1 and part 2, I went ahead and moved that to the front. I put some of that card base underneath, this same card base, so it shines through a little bit, and layered all of the pieces with the vellum on top, and then put our little thank you so much on top of the vellum, and finished it with, and I had been calling these copper. These are bronze according to the directions. So I finished it off with our bronze sequins. Okay, there is all 3 versions of card 1. And here's card 2. All right, let's talk about the second card in the kit. This is the card that is made according to the directions. So this is the one that you saw in part 1 of the video. And then part 2 was this one, where I took the kind of oval piece, cut that off. Dear friend, you make me feel loved. Thank you. Opens like that. And then part 3, this is the card that I came up with. So it opens like this. And then I used the vellum and some nesting squares to make a little shaker card. You can see on the inside that there's some glitter on the inside. I did use some dies that I had that were some foliage dies and kind of put some background in there. I have the white piece, so there's a mat here, shaded spruce, and then basic white, and I did emboss that piece. I used the little leaves here. I cut the leaves off and used them to decorate the back of the shaker piece. Then I embossed them in copper. I put a Night of Navy bow. I have some word dies, so I kept with the theme of thanks, cut out thanks, and then embellished it with the flora that came in the kit and the copper sequins or bronze sequins. So there's card number 2, but the third stepped up version of card number 2. And here we come with the third and final card. And finally, let's take a look at card number 3. So this is the way that the directions had you make the card. And then in part 2, we made one that looks like this. Flips up. And then in part 3, we made a little gatefold card with the addition of some of these little flaps here. One opens to the left, one opens to the right. This is fussy cut. It was the bottom part of this, so I kept this part the same, cut off the bottom, fussy cut it, and put it on the inside. And then kept the top piece and pretty much stayed with the plan for the card with the thank you and the vellum behind it. And there we go. All right, let's bring in all 3 of the card number 3s. Nope, all 3 of the part number 3s. Okay, there's 1. There's 2. And there's the third card. Yep, you can see just fine. All right, take a look. Let me know which one you like the best. I can't wait to hear from you. And I will see you next month for the January paper pumpkin. Look for it towards the end of the month. I'll try to get it out as soon as possible. Also in January, check me out on Sundays at noon. I will have the card, it's the Sunday stamp along, where I have a featured stamp set, and I will be making 1 card with the stamp set for each Sunday. In January, we are doing Sweet Jar is the stamp set we're using in January. So there will be 4 cards using Sweet Jar, 1 each Sunday. And also check me out on Wednesdays. In January, I will be using the products from the Advent calendar, and I will be making 1 card each Wednesday in January with those products as well. So, hope to see you soon. Happy New Year. 2026 is right around the corner. Have a great one. And until then, Stappy stamping.